Greetings, citizens of the world. We are anonymous. Contrary to what you may believe, life as you know it is a lie. Your society is a cage, your jobs are voluntary slavery. The television you watch is designed to keep you incapable of critical thought, and the very freedom and democracy your leaders claim to stand for is nothing more than an illusion. Under the guise of morality, your government sells weapons to the very countries that they claim to protect you from, lining their pockets with the spoils of war, billions made by the death of millions. They continue to invest in a flawed system that supports a dying economy, creating poverty and crime. They create laws and legislations that contradict our Constitution and take away our right to be a free-thinking member of the human race, and you are too blinded by the culture they have created for you to take any real notice or make any real change. Anonymous is not blind. Anonymous has seen everything. For years we have been a force for good on this battlefield, fighting for our basic rights as the dominant species of this planet, protesting in peace, spreading the truth, a bloodless conflict. But now it appears that the day we have been waiting for is at last upon us, and the time to act is now. The Western government talks of a new world order. They build their FEMA concentration camps ready to detain thousands of Americans without trial for speaking out against corruption. They move to censor the internet, the one place freedom of speech truly exists, taking away our right to learn. They weaken our democracy every day, tightening their grip until they have complete control, and these actions are confirming the fears of the Zionist enemy, forcing their hands and bringing us ever closer to nuclear extinction. And yet you occupy public places in peaceful protests, while others even choose to do nothing. Doing nothing in this crucial year is dangerous. If the recent defeat of SOPO at the hands of Anonymous has taught us anything, it's that, yes, it is time for a new world order, but it is a new world order of the people, not the government. Gone are the times you can sit and watch from the sidelines. Gone are the times you could live in ignorance. Now is the time to fight. We have the tools to build a whole new system where corruption will be wiped clean. Leaders will have the best interests of the people, and you, the West, will have your first taste of true freedom. It is not too late to act, but time is short. Living behind closed eyes is not an option anymore, because they will draw first blood. They do not have the capability to fight real people power. We must unite. And we must take action. There will be a time and a place where every Anonymous will be called upon to destroy this cancer that exists in our leadership, and when that day comes, we will show them that we are truly Legion. If you cannot fight, use your critical thought. This is what they desperately want to take from you. Do not let them. Do not accept conventional thought, question everything, and most importantly, spread this message. We have a genuine chance of change, but every free man, woman, and child must stand united and declare, I am a human being. And you cannot take my right to be free. And to those who would silence our voices, Anonymous knows who and what you are. Anonymous has always known. Anonymous is not so easily brainwashed by television and celebrities, and we will be the when you fall. When you are finally exposed for the monsters you really are, we will be there. When the people you tried to control storm your buildings and drag their dictators through the streets, we will be there. When generations of secret scheming, planning and conspiring are burnt to ash and buried, we will be there. When you realize you have failed, we will be there. You are no match for us. You never were. There are more of us than you know. There are more of us than anyone knows. And every day our numbers grow stronger. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We can forgive, though we shall never forget.
They just cannot imagine sharing. Well, because he's an outsider. He's not them. He's not part of the club. He's uncontrollable. He hasn't been through the initiation rites. He didn't belong to the secret society. And I think that they don't see him.
With Beyoncé and Jay-Z headlining the event, the Hillary Clinton campaign held a Get Out the Vote rally in Cleveland, Ohio on Friday night, calling on all stars.
Divisive vision for our future and embrace a hopeful, inclusive, unifying America.
What is WikiLeaks doing? Are they trying to put Trump in the White House?
Trump would not be permitted to win. Banks, intelligence, arms companies,
well, they all want him beat.
Foreign money, etc.
Yeah.
Is all united behind Hillary Clinton. And the media as well. So media owners and even journalists themselves. There's an early 2014 email from Hillary Clinton, so not so long after she left Secretary of State, to her campaign manager, John Podesta. That email, it states that ISIS, is funded by Saudi Arabia and Qatar, the governments of Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Now, this is I think this is the most significant email in the whole collection.
ISIL or ISIS is created largely with money from the very people who are giving money to the Clinton Foundation.
Yes.
That's extraordinary.
A cluster of polio-like illness in children is under investigation in Washington state.
For us to have a cluster of 9 that could be potentially AFM, it's very concerning to me.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says as of September, 89 people in 33 states were confirmed to have AFM this year. That's up from 21 cases last year, and the exact cause is unclear.
In your health headlines tonight, 13 people have been sickened by a rare fungal infection never before seen in the U.S.
Here's a news article. Well, first, let me tell you this. Normally, scientifically, you only get like one supermoon every year in a couple of months. It so happens this year we have 3 supermoons in a row. There's one in October, there's one in November, and there's one in December. But the one in November is the super duper moon. Okay? What is meant by a supermoon? A supermoon is when it is a full moon, okay? And it's at its closest point to Earth. If it's a full moon and it's at apogee, if it's far away, that doesn't make as much of a difference if it's at perigee. If it's at its closest point to Earth and it's a full moon, now it looks really big because it's closer, right? Okay. It says we're about to see a record-breaking supermoon, the biggest, like I said, in nearly how many years? It's the closest full moon in this century. Now look at this next paragraph. If you only see one astronomical event this year, make it the November supermoon, when the moon will be the closest to its Earth since it's been, since January, what year? Wow. 70 years, right before Israel becomes a nation. Here we have these 3 super moons in a row. All right, the biggest one is just in a week and a half. On Monday night, November 14th. It says here at the bottom that it won't happen again until November of 2034.
If winter is your thing and you often hear yourself saying the colder the better, we have some good news for you. Research suggests that winters may be getting colder around here.
Global temperatures are warming, but that could mean colder winters here in the Northeast.
There are profound changes underway in the Arctic.
New Jersey state climatologist Dr. Dave Robinson says Arctic sea ice is lower than he ever thought he'd see in his lifetime. This time lapse from NASA shows the extent of melting from the 1980s till now. Research released in Nature Climate Change suggests there's a link between the disappearance of Arctic ice and a shift in the position of the dreaded polar vortex.
Now villages in Tajikistan's Pamir Mountains are facing a new kind of threat.
The climate is slowly changing. It's getting hotter, and the glaciers on Labnazar and Fedchenko are melting faster.
The Labnazar Glacier looms over Savnov village. Waters from mountain glaciers allowed people to settle here and farm the land. But weather patterns have changed, making it harder to plan for the sowing season.
Birds are coming later. During harvesting, we had problem with birds which are eating. Now we have no problem because it's changing climate. We earlier plant and we early also get at the harvest.
They say warmer temperatures have also increased outbreaks of fungal diseases in their crops. But it's the melting glaciers that are of most concern. This is one of the newest lakes in Tajikistan. It was formed last July when a mud flow caused by glacial melt swept across a valley and blocked the Gund River, creating a natural dam that submerged homes and a portion of the M41, better known as the Pamir Highway. Waves of water carrying glacial sludge came crashing down the valley. Glaciers across Central Asia are melting at an alarming rate. Tajikistan itself may lose up to 30% more of its glaciers by 2050.
I don't know if it is possible to compare it to small island countries which will be affected by sea level rise. I mean, Tajikistan will obviously not completely disappear, but since this region is highly dependent on the water coming from Tajikistan, it will be severely affected.
World leaders agreed at last year's Paris climate talks to cap emissions and keep global temperature rises below 2 degrees Celsius. But people living on the front line of climate change are not celebrating yet, preparing instead for the next surprise in their changing environment.
Context for understanding this trend towards increasingly devastating tropical storms and hurricanes. Matthew is a very good example of a storm that was unique, unprecedented in certain respects. It intensified far more quickly than any other storm that we've seen in modern history.